guys, so today's video is a book review of The Stone Gods by Jeanette Winterson. Now I read this book on my Kindle so I don't have a physical copy of it, but I shall insert a picture here of the very pretty cover. This was my first Jeanette Winterson book, and from this point on I will only read more Jeanette Winterson because this was a lovely book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I was so impressed by Jeanette Winterson's imagination and her writing style. This was a book of 3 parts, almost like 3 separate stories which have interlocking themes as well as stories and places. So you can read them all individually, but they do make up one whole interlinked together because each one does really follow on from the other, and there is a message in the 3 being there together. 3 stories are very much about humans destroying themselves, destroying what they've created, destroying the planet, building things up just to bring them down, and kind of our self-destructive nature, and questioning whether this is inevitable or not, and how we can come back from things, and are we just destined to do things wrong again and again until we die out. But then there's also sort of like a sense of saviour in there as well, because you do get to see different incidents of us crushing ourselves, but then we get another chance. Maybe it's all about working to finally do it properly. I don't know. These are quite big topics. But overall I'd probably categorise it as a science fiction book, although the middle story is not particularly science fiction-y, but given its place in the wider frame of the story, it is actually science fiction as well. And rather than spoil anything, I'll just tell you what the first story is about at the beginning so you can get an idea of whether you feel like you want to give it a go. It starts with our protagonist Billy in the first story, who lives on a planet which is incredibly futuristic, high-tech, something that we might imagine in a science fiction world, under very strict laws, where there are these creatures called robo-sapiens, which are kind of like robots everywhere that are now integrated with our world, and everything's gone quite extreme. People fix their age at a certain stage in their life, usually for women in like their 20s. Some of the more disturbing aspects of society have kind of come up to the forefront and taking a grip of like a large percentage of the population, and some of the themes are quite disturbing. That deals a little bit with paedophilia at the beginning, which was quite disturbing, but it's a very interesting look at a futuristic world. However, they are very, very close to having completely destroyed the planet they are on and have found a new planet, Planet Blue, to move to. So this story is about the planned relocation, the events preceding the relocation, so they can start again. All 3 stories are quite tragic. Then the fact that the next story even happens is kind of what gives it a little bit of hope, although because when it ends, it just ends unless I decided to go back and start from the beginning again. I found myself crying, like, not violently, but I teared up and was definitely a bit like wet-cheeked at the ending. It was very emotional and very like heartbreaking and disturbing and like gruesome and horrific and moving and emotional. I think I've said all these words already, but yeah, lots of emotions at the end there. I will say I did not go into this realising it was 3 separate stories. I probably heard, but completely forgotten. And although, like I said, they are kind of part of one whole story, it was a little bit jarring. I was like, sorry, wait, what? Is this a collection of short stories? I wasn't expecting it, but then it made sense as it went on. In particular, the 3rd story, at the beginning of that, I was quite confused as to what was going on and how this fitted in with the rest of it, but if you persevere through every bit, it all makes sense in the end. It all comes together really nicely, even if it does kind of jar you for a moment there. There are also a lot of LGBT themes in there. There's a lesbian and a gay relationship in there, which is grand. I'm not exactly sure why I didn't give it 5 stars, but do you ever have that experience when you're reading a book where there's just moments in it where you sort of frown and you're like, am I actually enjoying this? And I did really enjoy it, but there were just these little moments which I think brought it down for me, which meant that I wasn't enjoying it 100% of the time, even if I was enjoying it 95% of the time. So that's why I've given it 4 stars. Also because I presume if I like this one that much, then there's going to be books by Jeanette Winterson that are even better there and I enjoy even more, and I'm saving my 5 stars for them. Another little nice tidbit about the book was there was some like references to Greek and Roman mythology in there, which I always appreciate. And mingled in with Jeanette Winterson's beautiful writing, I was very happy, and I'm so glad I read that book, and I cannot wait to read more Jeanette Winterson books. I'm still feeling a little bit emotional from the end. I finished it really late at night, and I was just lying in my bed like at half past midnight, like my heart. It was very, very heartbreaking. Please let me know if you've read this book and what your thoughts were on it. I'd love to chat about it, and until next time guys, happy reading, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!